Recap Roman's story is called Manhattan Night 2015 with you. Subscribe to the channel and give it a like. It will help promote the video. Thanks. Meet Porter Rann, crime columnist for The New Yorker. In today's world, where almost everyone has a smartphone in their pocket and most of the news is posted on the internet, working at the newspaper does not bring much income for Porter, allowing him to feed himself and his family. At an evening organized by the tycoon Hobbs, Porter meets a charming girl named Caroline. Realizing that the girl wants something from him, Porter asks a question to answer which Caroline offers at her home. In the apartment, the girl gives Porter an envelope with documents about the death of her husband Simon, a famous movie director, including photos from the scene of the accident, as well as police reports that Simon's body was found in a destroyed building. But how it got there is unknown. The area around the building is enclosed by a high fence, and Simon had no keys to the front gate. After studying the documents and getting drunk, Porter returns home. Arriving at the editorial office in the morning, Porter unfolds a piece of paper with Caroline's phone number. The number was texted to him last night by a girl. Having printed out the gum on the insert which says that there may not be another chance, Porter calls the girl. When he gets there, he asks the girl about the time she met her husband. According to Caroline, she met Simon in a bar where she came after she was fired from her job because she refused to go on a date with the boss where she worked as a secretary. They had a nice chat with Simon, who a couple of hours after meeting made a proposal to Caroline. 3 days later, they were secretly married. 6 months of happy life ended after Simon did not come home one day. Caroline was worried, but did not call the police because she was afraid of Simon's negative reaction. But 3 days later, the girl realized that something had happened to her husband. The police still hadn't solved the murder. So the girl turned to Porter because very often people trust their secrets to this guy. Taking his coat, Porter leaves the girl's apartment. At the elevator, he realizes he left his phone in the girl's apartment. He returns and opens the door to the apartment using the code since the girl didn't open the door. Taking the phone from the table, Porter realizes that the girl is taking a shower. Carefully approaching the ajar door, the guy notices that the girl is playing her harmonica. She notices him, and he apologizes to the girl. Caroline wonders if the guy enjoyed watching. She admits that she was thinking about him in the shower room. After telling the girl that the possibility will happen only once, Porter starts kissing the girl, after which they engage in division by 0. Porter cheated on his spouse. He returns home. Taking Caroline's back number as payment, he begins his investigation into her husband's death. Every time, Porter convinces himself not to meet the girl anymore because he is a family man. But as soon as Caroline called the guy, he offered to have lunch together. Caroline has something she wants to show only to Porter. The girl takes Porter to a bank where there is a briefcase with flash drives containing Simon's records. Caroline leaves Porter to look through the tapes as she says she has seen them many times and it will be tiresome for her. After a while, Porter's phone rings. The voice in the receiver informs that Porter wants to see Hobbs. As he leaves the bank, Porter notices a man he has seen following him several times before. He rushes after him, but he manages to slip away. Arriving at Mr. Hobbs, Porter learns that the tycoon knows all about his affair with Caroline. Every day, she sends him a tape with dirt on the man. She doesn't ask for any money. Porter's task is to deal with it because Hobbs is very powerful. He starts to intimidate the guy not only by firing him, but also by fabricating cases against him. Hobbs is well aware that Porter's family lives mainly on the salary of his wife Lisa. But even so, Hobbs is able to influence and deprive her of her job. Arriving home, Porter learns from Lisa that today she was visited by a very strange 28-year-old patient with complaints of joint pain. Upon arriving at the girl's house, Porter is informed that he has something for her. Caroline has something for Porter too. So she offers to put things on hold. After another division by 0, the girl starts asking Porter about his wife. He believes it was Caroline who came to see Lisa yesterday, which the girl admits to. She did it out of curiosity. He says his wife is smart and asks him not to go to her anymore. Carolyn asks him, does he think of her when he is wrestling with his wife? He says yes. She asks him if he loves her. He says he has since the first time he met her. He's not satisfied with Hobbs' assignment, so he asks Caroline directly about the tape that was sent to his boss. The girl admits it's not her. The girl was hoping that Porter would find the tape while investigating Simon's murder, and who sends it to Hobbs. She says that the tape shows her sleeping with Hobbs because she bet it to her husband Simon, and her husband had to hold the hand of a dying man. Porter concludes that everything that happened between him and the girl is a stage play to get Porter to find the tape. Realizing that he is being used, Porter goes home, where he is met at the door by Hobbs' men demanding the tape. When Lisa wakes up in the morning, she finds Porter in the bathroom, beaten and lying to his wife that he was attacked by robbers. The next day, Porter goes to a nursing home where he meets Simon's father, asking the old man about the flash drives. Porter searches his room and finds a video camera in his nightstand, from which he removes a memory card. At that moment, a message from Lisa arrives on his phone, telling him to come to the hospital. Porter learns that a man shot his son and his housekeeper with a gun when he broke into their apartment. To keep his family safe, Porter decides to get to Hobbs. He does so through his confidant Campbell. Putting a noose around his neck, Porter demands that he call Hobbs and call off the thugs. To make it more convincing, he stabs Campbell in the thigh. Having contacted the billionaire, Porter demands to leave his family alone, or he will make 1,000 copies of the video and send it to all the media of the world. Hobbs gives the guy 24 hours to deliver the video. If he doesn't, everything that's happened to him turns out to be kindergarten. Back home, Porter watches the tape on the flash drive he stole from Simon's father. There's nothing much on the video, just Frank asking him not to blame himself for what happens later. The video also features an old lady, Mrs. Siegel, who visited Frank at the nursing home very often. Porter goes to visit the old lady, but his calls deep in the night are not answered. Finding the key to the front door, Porter sneaks in, digging through the bills, and he hears a noise. He can't get out of the house, so he hides behind the door. When the footsteps stop, Porter peeks out of the room. When he meets Ms. Siegel, the old lady tries to call the police, but Porter begs her not to, calling her by name. The old woman is the only clue to Simon's death, so Porter asks for her help. Showing her documents, the old woman recognizes the journalist as she constantly reads his articles. According to Ms. Siegel, Simon and her son Michael were childhood friends. Michael drowned at the age of 8, and Simon continued to visit after his mother's death, becoming almost a son to Ms. Siegel. As soon as Simon began to earn money, he constantly sent $2,000 to Mrs. Siegel as a gesture of goodwill, but on the accounts that Porter saw a different amount. $5,000 according to the old lady. She was getting that money from Simon's company for sending flash drives. Mrs. Siegel says she has one last flash drive left, which she gives to Porter. He watches the tape of Caroline seducing Hobbs, but he admits to the girl that he has problems with his manhood, which he lost in a fight when he was young. Caroline also shares her story with the billionaire, which Porter cannot hear because they are talking very quietly. Hobbs then suggests that they not talk with their tongues, but use them for their intended purpose. Realizing that this is the tape Hobbs was looking for, Porter gives the flash drive to the billionaire. The case seems to be dropped, but Hobbs says that they searched Caroline's apartment for the flash drive and found a key that didn't fit any of the doors. With this key, Porter goes the next day to the place where Simon's body was found. The key opens the doors of the tunnel to the basement of both buildings. The journalist met a guard he had seen before. According to the man's story, the elevator in the demolished building was down in the basement of the house, and the police did not search anything because the elevator was under a thick layer of soil. After hiring a crew to dig up the elevator of the demolished building, Porter gets inside. There he discovers a device to which several cameras were connected. On the tapes, Simon shows Caroline the horse that Hobbs gave her after the girl told her story in the hotel room. This horse figurine is worth a fortune. Simon doesn't want to let Caroline out until he hears the same story, but the story is too personal for the girl. Simon breaks the horse, then straps Caroline to the elevator and swallows the key. He pulls it down, and the elevator pulls the girl with it. In order not to die, Caroline agrees to tell what happened in her childhood. Simon stops the elevator, and the girl grabs a leg from a horse figurine and jams it into her husband's neck. To free herself from the chain, she needs the key that Simon swallowed. The girl opens her ex-husband's stomach. Already on the street, Porter calls Caroline, saying that he found the tape and gave it to Hobbs. The girl asks to meet and shows Porter the engagement ring that Caroline was given by her boyfriend. Porter has something to show her too. With these words, he takes out the head from the horse figurine found in the demolished building. Taking out the key that Hobbs gives him, Porter reveals that Simon's murder was caught on camera. Porter shows the flash drive, explaining that it's a copy, the original he hid. Porter demands that Caroline never show up at his wife Lisa's again. After wishing the girl happiness, Porter leaves. That's the end of the story. You've been on Recap Roman.